Peace to the gods and goddesses. This message is solely intended for the high vibrational individuals, okay, that resonate with information and subject matter that's esoteric. If you're not open-minded, you may want to scroll. If you're still here, then I assume you're open-minded to esoteric subject matter. Now, I want to state that this ascension process isn't about color, okay? It isn't about the color of your skin. It is about the color of your aura, and it's also about returning to nature, all right? It's about reverting back to nature. There's a lot of things that are artificial to this planet that will be eradicated due to cosmic energy. You don't have to believe me, but I spoke with the cosmic Ethereal mother and she's livid, okay? She's pissed at how her babies have been treated. A lot of the ancestors are returning from Lake Lanier. A lot of the ancestors are returning from the oceans that were dumped overboard during the transatlantic slave trade. Currently, the deletes that run this matrix are in subterranean bases preparing for our upgrade. They have giant draconian extraterrestrial entities that they're constructing in hyperbolic chambers. They have super soldiers, clones, and anything else you could think about to try to combat what we're going to become. One of the first things that's going to happen when we fully become aware is we're going to actually switch our language. Our language is going to change, okay? We're going to revert back to one tongue. Remember, all the languages were separated during the fight between Enlil and Marduk. This is your Tower of Babel story. This was when Amun-Ra was using all the humanoids at the time to build a large tower to communicate with Nibiru. And Lil didn't like that. He seen that all of us were in sync and had the ability of actually building a tower this large and communicating amongst one another. And at that point, the languages were separated. None of us are supposed to be speaking this English language. English is the least powerful language when it comes to manifestation. Before we had language, we was even telepathic. Before we get back telepathic, the first thing we're going to be doing is speaking a completely different language. We're going to literally be talking and they're not going to be able to understand what the hell we're talking about. Then after a period of time, we're going to go from talking and they can't understand us to not even talking at all. We're just going to be telepathically in sync, reading minds. We even do it now. And this is why we come up with so much slang, okay? This is why we create our own slang words. And somehow all around the world, our slang get picked up. Remember, they tried to keep up with us. They had an Ebonics book, but they couldn't keep up with us because the Ebonics would always change. This is because the English language was forced on us when we was colonized. So as we shift, our language is also going to be shifting. And it's not going to be something we're going to have to force. It's just going to happen naturally when our frequency raises. This is because the 6,000 year spell is being eradicated. This is why focusing on your frequency at this point in time is the most important, okay? Because times are only going to get more tumultuous. And if you're weak, you're not going to survive through it. This isn't fear mongering. This is just facts. We are in a glorious time, okay? We are in a very glorious time, but it's going to be some obstacles, okay, to get there, all right? It's going to be a lot of integration. We're going to have to integrate a new cosmic light to our avatars. Some of the transition process may be painful for others. My objective is to try to make the process as smooth as possible. This is why I talk about cleansing parasitic organisms. This is why I talk about removing harmful toxic metals out of the body. This is why I stress meditation. This is why I talk about things like Blue Lotus and Mugwort to access transcendental states of consciousness so you can remember the tutelage that you're receiving when you're in those alternate dimensions, because we are being upgraded and taught in the astros as well. That the thing is, some of you guys just don't remember it, but I remember those classes. I'm sitting in classes in the astros that aren't being taught down here.